that issue, I have an alternative as well. I offered an all-of-the-above energy plan when I was in Congress. That too sat in committee. Remember, I served when the House was under control of the Democrats, Speaker Pelosi, as well as the Senate under Harry Reid. And so these bills, though introduced, though talked about, though taxpayers would say, great idea, an all-of-the-above energy plan. What does that mean? Well, it means just what it says. All of the above. That means we use the traditional fuels, petroleum-based fuels, natural gas. We use clean coal technology that's available there. Do you realize right now our fighter jets are primarily fueled by coal-based fuel? And legally we cannot produce that here in the United States, so they buy that from Saudi Arabia. Right, Bob?
Yes, sir. And more aircraft are going that way every day in the military.
And so here we are, concerned about defending ourselves with a world that's gone crazy, and we can't even produce our fighter jet fuel with the clean coal technology and liquefied coal fuel that we burn in those high-tech jets. I mean, that is something that we simply ought to be offended about. So
Like
what's
the
going on?
Census Bureau buying things from China.
Census Bureau buying their things, their handouts that they give out from China. I mean, with the energy tax, in comparison to all above says let's use that. Let's use nuclear power. If France can power 75 to 80% of all of their energy through nuclear power plants, let's find out how they do it, get a cookie cutter carbon copy of their plants if necessary. Though I think we can do better. But at least for the time being, we can do that. Let's reduce the regulations that keep us from recycling the waste that comes off to the point of what France is able to do, get 20% waste total. Low-level waste at the end of the pipeline. And yet power 75 to 80% of their households and businesses with that nuclear power. I mentioned numerous times during the campaign cycle, last one, that one of the founders of Greenpeace has come out very strongly saying that nuclear power is the greenest form of energy. It offers no global gas greenhouse problems. So if we've got the Greens on our side, let's go with it. And nuclear power. Now then we have other alternatives. We have the biofuels. We have wind and solar. Not opposed to that. But at this present time, you're not going to be able to power all of your electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles with just wind and solar. And maybe never. If we have resources for petroleum and natural gas out in the northwestern states, the Bakken Reserve, at a minimum over 100 years, in shale, and up in Anwar in Alaska. Of course, former Governor Palin would love to have had that up there. We could use that over here in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Marcellus Formation, another huge resource of talking to some oil people in Jackson. I think around 60 years minimum of supply.
In Montana alone, they said that we were able to use the coal that they have 300 years worth of
coal
power for us.
Yeah. I mean, we're the Saudi Arabia of coal. So
Yeah.
all of that says, why not? And at a time that it would take to use up those, and I contend far less, we're going to find alternatives. But don't hamstring us now at the threat of our national security and the diminishing of the progress that we are as Americans. I'll tell one last story, then let's open it up. My wife and I were over in Uganda, Kampala, Uganda. My daughter's a missionary over there. And when we go visit our daughter, it's a 27-hour flight and process to get there. But we went over for Thanksgiving. And while I was there, I had the opportunity, because of being a former member of Congress, to talk to members of Parliament and cabinet members there, and a number of other organizations. It was very interesting to hear their feedback about the world situation. Elections are starting there now. Oh, there's a lot of interesting talk. Well, one of the members of Parliament, by the name of Sebeliba Mutumba, Richard, one of his 5 or 6 names,